having seen so many success stories and so many people finding the right path in their own careers, if you had to very quickly highlight a couple of things to look out for, and we look at it in two different ways. One is with respect to people's personality and their traits, and another one is with respect to their what their proficiency is on a professional level and the achievements they've had in their current roles. What is like a quick framework to think about these things and find a good career for you?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of hits home because, that's the first part of the problem statement that we focus on. So, I mean, by the way, if you've seen the tool, you would have realized that we have tried to break down the larger problem of career transition into smaller buckets, right? Because, I mean, it's the typical way of solving any large problem, for example, engineering problem, you kind of break it down into multiple pieces so that you can make it more manageable. So the first piece of the problem that we tackle is getting clarity about the right career option for yourself, right? Um, so I mean, I've spoken to maybe like about 20, 25 coaches, right, who do this as their day job in helping people identify the right careers and then helping them different ways to achieve that goal. Um, and they have their own process, right? And I respect that process in terms of aptitude tests and doing some brainstorming exercise and deep thinking and all those things. I think they're very helpful. What I realized though that there is no one perfect way to identify what works best for you. What is important then, if there is no one perfect way, is you use a couple of different techniques, right? And identify patterns alongside those in all of those techniques, right? So it's less about using one process, which I feel like sometimes people fixate on too much. Like, for example, if they're doing a personality assessment, they would just take that personality assessment and be like, okay, these are the career options that have resulted. So I should just think about these, right? I think it kind of ends up boxing you in, like pigeonholing you a little bit if you're just depending too much on any one specific tool or framework or exercise to determine what career option you should choose from, right? What we have tried to do in terms of helping people identify the best career options is use these multiple set of, what we call like exercises or features on our platform. And some of these are related to who you are and your personality traits. So you focus on what you like to do, what are you good at, what kind of things motivate you in terms of your day to day, like your value systems, basically, right? So focusing on your skills, interests, and values. Also your priorities. I mean, that is one of the biggest things that I'd like to tell people, because everybody, there are a lot of people who come to me, Arjun, uh, obviously I want the same things that everybody else wants. Like I want high pay, I want growth, I want flexibility and autonomy in my career. And I tell them, you know what, I know everybody wants that, but not everybody wants that in the same pecking order. Which one out of these is most important for you right now? If you are, for example, a new parent, you probably want more flexibility in your career, right? Versus if you are somebody, let's say, who's 20, 25 years old, you probably are looking to grow rapidly in your career, make some good pay and all those things, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to generalize, but what I'm trying to say here is that people have unique priorities at different stages of their lives. So it's very important to have that level of self-awareness of what your priorities are, because you're not going to check off every box in terms of your career desires. So which box is the most important for you is going to be helpful for you to get clarity. And yeah, I mean, that's all inward looking, right? So that's all about you. But then you have to connect it with the outer world. You can't just look at yourself and be like, yeah, this is me, this is what I'm going to do. You have to say like, okay, this is me, but what is the current job market scenario? What kind of opportunities exist that actually align with my traits and my background? And then you have to, we have a couple of exercises which we call extrospection, and a lot of people today do get confused by that word because it's not a simple word to understand. It's not a common word. So that's actually one of the complex things on our platform today is like, hey, what's this extrospection exercise? But extrospection is basically the opposite of introspection, right? Looking externally outward and connecting it with your inner self. And that is all about, again, looking for the right kind of roles that exist in the market that could help you achieve your agenda from a career standpoint. So yeah, I mean, for us, it's not, I mean, I would summarize this again by reiterating what I started with, that it's not just one factor framework that you can look at and say that this is what's going to help me. You have to do multiple things. And a lot of times people already have clarity. I would say this, like almost 50% of people who come to us, they know what they want to do. And I think that's because they have been trying to respond to the data that has been collected in the conscious or subconscious mind about, hey, I hate doing this thing. I enjoy doing this thing. I like talking to people versus I like to work, alone on like computer or whatever. So these things we are already processing and thinking on a day-to-day basis about ourselves. So a lot of people do come with that sort of, reflection done that I want to become an XYZ. How can you guys help me get there? So in that case, you don't even have to spend that much time on gaining clarity because the person is fairly self-assured about which direction you want to go. Yeah.